Hello and good day everyone. I am Aprilin Argalate and I'm here to discuss the methods of separating mixtures. The first method of separating mixtures is extraction. So when we say extraction, it is a way to separate a desired substance when it is mixed with other. The mixtures is brought into contact with a solvent in which the substance of interest is soluble, but the other substances present are insoluble. The second method of separating mixtures is distillation. So when we say distillation, it is a process involving the conversion of a liquid into vapor that is subsequently condensed back to liquid form. Distillation is used to separate liquids from non-volatile solids, or as in the separation of alcoholic liquors from fermented materials, or in the separation of two or more liquids having different boiling points, as in the separation of gasoline, kerosene, and lubricating oil from crude oil. Other industrial applications include the processing of such chemical products as formaldehyde and phenol and the desalination of seawater. A laboratory distillation apparatus demonstrating desalination of water. In the distillation flask, salt water is boiled to produce water vapor or steam, while the salt remains in the liquid solution. The vapor rises through the top of the flask and passes into the condenser, which consists of a glass tube within a large tube. And then cold water flows through the space between the tubes, cooling the vapor in the inner tube so that it condenses and flows into the receiving flask. The next method of separating mixtures is precipitation. So when we say precipitation, it is a process in which a solute separates from a supersaturated solution. In a chemical laboratory, it usually refers to a solid crystallizing from a liquid solution, but in weather reports, it applies to liquid or solid water separating from supersaturated air. To precipitate is to form an insoluble compound either by reacting two salts or by changing the temperature to affect the solubility of the compound. Also, precipitate is the name given to the solid that is formed as a result of a precipitation reaction. The fourth method of separating mixtures is chromatography. Chromatography, it is a process for separating components of a mixture. To get the process started, the mixture is dissolved in a substance called the mobile phase, which carries it through a second substance called the stationary phase. Chromatography can be used as an analytical tool. It can also be used as a purification tool, separating the components of a mixture for use in other experiments or procedures. For example, solid phase extraction is a kind of liquid chromatography in which different mobile phases are used in sequence to separate out different components of a mixture trapped in a solid phase. The next is filtration. It is a process used to separate solids from liquids or gases using a filter medium that allows the fluid to pass through but not the solid. The term filtration applies whether the filter is mechanical, biological, or physical. The fluid that passes through the filtration is called the filtrate. Filtration is typically an imperfect process. Some fluid remains on the feed side on the filter or embedded in the filter media, and some small solid particulates find their way through the filter. And the last is sedimentation. It is a process of allowing particles in suspension in water to settle out of the suspension under the effect of gravity. Differentiate elements, compounds, and mixtures. Elements is a substance that cannot be broken down into any other substance. Every element is made up of its own type of atom. This is why the chemical elements are all very different from each other. Everything in the universe contains the atoms of at least one or more elements. Next is compound. It is a substance made up of two or more different chemical elements that are combined in a fixed ratio. When the chemicals or elements come together, they react with other and form chemical bonds that are difficult to break. A compound is sometimes confused with a mixture, but the two differ in important ways. And last is mixture. When two or more substances mix with each other without participating in a chemical change, the resulting substance is called mixture. Some examples of mixtures are crude oil, seawater, air, ink, and gunpowder. And it's all about my report. Thank you for listening and God bless everyone.